Hey, and welcome back to Seaton Bar and Grill, home of hot food, cold beer and good times. In today's video we're going to be looking at pork cheek and how to cook it. Pork cheek is one of the meats which a lot of butchers throw away so you can pick up for pennies, and it's great for summer because what you can do, you can braise it and literally just pull it apart so you've got some nice pulled meat to go in some summer cobs. So what we've got a kilo of pork cheek, 2 onions, an apple, a bulb of garlic, some turmeric, paprika, salt, pepper and some olive oil with garlic in. We're also going to be using some apple juice and we're going to be using some cider. Now you can use any cider you want. The cider we're going to use is scrumpy cloudy cider, just to give it a bit more oomph. So the first thing to do is make sure you've got a nice casserole dish. Now a good casserole dish will serve you very well, and all we're going to do is get a bit of olive oil and just drop it in the bottom. And all this is going to do, because it's going to sit in the oven for a couple of hours, it's just going to prevent it from actually sticking to the bottom. As much as you're going to have fluid in there, the meat's going to contact, and that's where you start getting some burning. So this is some olive oil in there, then we're just going to grab the pork cheek and drop it in. You're probably going to do about half of it in at once. It's nice, simple, just spread it round. Once you've got half it in there, you're going to start looking at prepping your other stuff. Now, because you're braising it in juice, it's very easy, but you don't have to really do much prep work. So when it comes to the onions, literally just cut them in half, cut them in half again, even with the skins on. Just drop them straight in. Nice, easy, simple, and you don't have to really worry about peeling anything, because what you can do at the end, if you want to make yourself a nice gravy or use the juice for anything like a sauce, you literally just strain it off with a sieve. Then just take your garlic, cut it in half, nice, simple, easy, and drop it in. You're just going to spread your garlic out a bit. It doesn't matter about peeling it, because like I say, you can just run it through a sieve. Take an apple. Now the apple, just going to add a bit more flavour to it. You're already putting cider and apple juice in, but it's just going to give a bit more something to it. All I'm just going to do is quarter this and drop this in, so it just has a bit more flavour. Then just take the other parts of your pork cheek, drop them in just over the top. Now it's going to be really nice and beautiful. So once you've got all this done, it's going to look something like this. Very nice, simple. It doesn't have to look clean, because all you're doing, you're braising your pork cheek. And once you've got it to this stage, you can start adding your turmeric, paprika, salt, pepper, and then your cider and apple juice. So turmeric, we're just going to give it a nice little sprinkle over the top. Same with the paprika. And all this is just going to do is flavour it. And that's just going to flavour into the juice and then soak in. Now your cider is probably what you want to add first, because it's just going to give it a bit more of a spice. Now we're using scrumpy cloudy cider, real nice stuff, great for drinking. It is at 7.5% as well, so it's a very strong drink, so drinking this, especially at barbecues, great fun. You just don't drink much. Then all we're just going to do is add some apple juice. And what you want to do is take it up to around about halfway up. So you've not got too much in there, you just got enough just to keep it nice and coated. And then just a sprinkle of salt and pepper. Now we're using a coarse grain of salt in an actual grinder, quite nice. And the same with some pepper. Now all the flavours in here are going to soak into the meat. Because what we're going to do when we cook it, we're going to put a layer of cling film over the top and then tin foil over the top to protect it. And that's nice and easy and simple. And what the cling film is going to do is just stop the moisture from escaping. You don't really have to be very thorough with the cling film, you just have to give it a nice good to make it seal. So it doesn't have to look pretty, because we're men and we don't need that. And literally once the cling film's on, just a bit of tin foil will do quite nicely just over the top.
Give a few Martin to me because they see Martin. Temperature for how long? It's only a test run anyway, isn't it?
Right, so now this is all done, and it's all covered, tin foil, cling film, we've got everything in there. It's very simple and easy. All this is going to do now is go in the oven at 180 degrees for around about 2 hours. You can cook it for longer, it doesn't really matter, because pork cheek, as long as you get it out of the juice, you could leave it quite happily in the oven for 8 hours and it's still going to be tender.